this is kind of a good segue. So you experienced breast
Breast
cancer.
cancer. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is something that, I imagine was super scary. And I could see it going both ways for people. I
Yeah.
have because I've experienced something that is so close to death. Now I need to be extra careful with my life. I need to play
Mhm.
everything play it safe with everything now for the rest of my life. I got this second chance, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, but you got back out on the surfboard. What was your framing and your thought process around that?
Two things I think happened. One was when I first got diagnosed, I was pissed. I was not happy. I kind of thought, like, really? Like, this is not what I wasn't expecting it. It's not my family. Not that you ever expect to get cancer, but it's just one of those things that kind of throws you. And I found myself kind of a little angry is the word for it. Angry at my body, kind of like annoyed in so many ways, and thinking, oh my God, like I don't have time for this, which is ridiculous. And then, and I thought, and so as I was resisting it, because you're kind of, but you can't resist cancer. You kind of go up. I have to figure out what to do now. And I decided to reframe it. And I think this is part of the suck at something thing. I decided to reframe it as like an adventure. And I say in my book, it's not a choose your own adventure. It's an it chose you adventure. Like you're going on this
Mm.
adventure, whether you want it or not. And I thought, oh, if I frame it as an adventure that I wouldn't have chosen, but that has chosen me, I'm going to have to just go along. So I'm going to learn a lot of new things. I'm going to see kind of what I'm made out of. That was one thing. Then the other thing was that I realized in the course of it was a year that went not well, and I mean, I'm fine. I mean, you don't really know what breast cancer, but it was 6 years ago, or I got diagnosed 7 years ago. Um, when I went to see my doctors, and so I had surgery, then I had another surgery, and then I had chemo, and then the chemo, I had to go back and have the second round of chemo, and then I had a mastectomy. So it was like a year of just horrible things. And every time I kept saying to my doctors, like, when can I get back in the water? And they thought I was hilarious. They're like, can you? And I'm just like, just whatever you're doing, you have to seal me up well enough so that I can get back in the water. And they're like, I think you need to wait. I'm like, I'm not going to wait. I'm not waiting. That's not what I'm doing. I need to surf. I need to be in the ocean. Now, I call it surfing through chemo, which was um, an idea. It was very hard to do that because I was really sick. But that idea that what I wanted to do more than anything, besides, stay alive because of my children, that was the first thing, without a doubt. But the second thing was to surf. And I thought, I want to get better so I can go surf again. And I was like, I want to go do the thing that I'm worst at. Like, I want to live so I can go do the thing I'm worst at, not so I can go back and do the thing that I'm best at, my job or whatever. That wasn't what was pulling me. It was like, I need to get healthy because I need to be able to go back in the water. And I was in the water every chance I got, in spite of how bad I felt and how much it hurt and how at risk I was. And by the way, I had to start all the way at the bottom again. I mean, I literally got to a certain level and then I had to go back down and start from the beginning. And I could have, my fear was, what if this means I don't surf anymore? And that broke my heart. And I thought, well, that's my choice, right? I mean, if I don't surf anymore, that's because I chose not to surf anymore. So screw that. I'm gonna make myself do this. And I started all over again. And
Wow.
it took me a couple of years to get back to where I was.
Yeah.
Um, but it was kind of awesome because then you're just going like, you know, I
Hmm.
don't know if I could curse, but I would just say like, fuck cancer. I'm gonna go do this. And that, of course, listen, of course, that was a feedback loop that was positive, as opposed to saying it beat me. I'm like, no, no, no. And it was hard because the whole body was compromised. My range of motion was messed up. I mean, it's like all these things. Well, I got used to it actually. I mean, I worked around it. I mean, Bethany Hamilton surfs with one
One
arm. I mean,
arm.
for God's sakes. I mean, she said when she was 13 and got her arm bit off by a tiger shark in Hawaii, her first thing was, when can I get back in the water and surf again? And I remember that. She was 13 years old. And I thought, yeah, that's the right way to think about it. That
Yeah.
makes sense to me. I mean,
Oh,
and she's Stephanie Hamilton, and I'm not. But it doesn't matter because it's the idea is just you got to get out there. So yeah. So the way that breast cancer worked, it scared me first because I thought it would prohibit me for either sickness or desire or fear, and I pushed through those things. And probably it's what made me heal quicker. In a way, it's probably because I pushed through that.
yeah. The fact that you said you framed it as an adventure, which is incredible, first of all. And I think probably I would guess that because you had practiced reframing so much in your practice
Totally.
of surfing,
Yes.
this was the ultimate
Sucking
test
at
at that.
something. But talk about sucking at something. It's like sucking at like being healthy. You're like, oh my God, I really suck at this. Like this is not what I was supposed to suck at. Like I'm strong, I'm capable, I'm all that stuff. And then you go, wait, what story am I telling? And I go, right, it's yeah, I'm going to go on an adventure. And it actually became, I would instead of taking the, escalator up the stairs and because I would force myself during chemo to walk to work. And then I would force myself, if I got on a subway, to walk up the stairs. And I remember thinking, I felt like such crap. And I remember thinking, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to walk to chemo. I'm going to walk back from chemo. I'm going to push myself to do this because I don't want to give into it. And, there was a time when I was lying on the couch and practically dead because it was a year later and everything had gone wrong. But there I was. And I remember thinking, oh, so this is what it feels like to die. And I felt, this is weird, but I felt weirdly blessed because I thought, well, I'm on my couch. I've had treatment. I have my family around me. The worst thing that happens is that you die. And then you think, well, if you could reframe that, you're good. You're good. And that's sort of got me to that place.
Whew.
So yeah, yeah. So
Oh my
it was
gosh.
good. It was an amazing experience. You
Oh
know,
my goodness.
did Gilda Radner say cancer would be the best thing that happened to you if it didn't kill you? I think that's a Gilda Radner said, which I think
Right.
it's a great line.
Oh,
So it's like I don't know, it's around the corner. It'll creep up again. Usually, people who get cancer get recurrences, and this happens. And I'm going, I'm just going to keep surfing and keep having an adventure, and just
yeah.
when it happens, it happens.
And something like that could happen to any of us, and maybe not cancer, but anything
Well,
traumatic or
exactly.
disastrous, right?
And we all go through some kind of trauma, and we're all going to die. And then you kind of go, okay, but besides that,
Yeah.
things are good.
We're all going to have to practice reframing at some point, and you don't want the traumatic, serious experience to be the one time you have to, but
It will be.
you want to have practiced reframing before that happens and
Yeah.
practice
Yes, you do.
storytelling,
Yes, absolutely. No, that's
right?
a good way of putting it. Absolutely. It's a practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think because you wanted to get back to surfing because it's the thing that made you feel the most alive, which cancer threatened to take
Does
that
not.
away.
Yeah, yeah, it threatens that. Yeah, it does threaten that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, oh wow. I'm like emotional just talking to you about that. But that's
Yeah.
incredible, and I think yeah, anyone who has experienced something traumatic or life threatening could stand to take a note from you and how you did that. So
Well, I hope I can do it again the next time. So I don't count on it, but yeah, you hope it's there.